Hello, everyone. This is Andres Restart. I am back to live streaming. Hopefully, everything is looking and sounding okay. Okay, this all right. It's the headset that has me not being able to hear things. But yeah, we're live. Hopefully, all of you can hear me and see me just fine. We are hours away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. This setup is an interim setup, just for the record, right? Like I'm actually staying at my brother's place for a couple months before I figure out where I'm actually going to be living next. So this is a temporary set, but it'll get the job done. And so here we are. We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch 2. We're here. It's finally time. Like, we're so close. I'm actually gonna double check my pre-order. My Switch 2 has not arrived yet, just so we're clear. I know that my Walmart email had said estimated that it would be here by today, but I knew there was always a chance it wouldn't be here today. So I'm going here. Whoa. Yeah, it says expected today, but Let me view the order on Walmart.com. What does it say? It still says preparing. Delivery from store arrives tomorrow by 10 p.m. Okay. So that's where I'm at right now. Just waiting for it. So yeah. Y'all can hear me, right? I'm assuming you guys can hear me because no one has said you can't hear me. So I think that is a good sign. Is the thing in the back not a Switch 2? Mr. B, it is not a Nintendo Switch 2. It is a fake Nintendo Switch 2. It's something I've used for, like, sponsorships, different accessories that I'm sent. I use them to test out different things. So that's what it's there for. It looks like a Switch 2, right? I mean, it's meant to be. It's meant to feel, in terms of shape. I'm like looking at the camera. How far is it? Really that far away? I guess it's kind of far away. All right, this is not a real Switch 2. It's not a real Switch 2. It does have. It gives me an idea, right? So you can see it isn't actually. But I'm currently. I have on these accessories. You'll find out who these accessories are from soon in a video in the not so distant future. I really like these accessories. I'll tell you that. This is like a low rubber plating, right? It comes off. So this is how the Switch 2 Joy-Con basically looks, right? It's not exact, right? It's not exact in terms of size and shape. It is, but there's little things. There's little things. Basically, if the reason we have stuff like this is so accessory makers can have something to test out their accessories before the real thing comes out, right? So if the accessory fits this, it will fit the Switch 2 just the same. I really like this grip. It's pretty nice. So I wouldn't be surprised if I use that, but I'll see. I'll feel my real Joy-Cons soon, very soon. So let me go awkwardly put this back now. All right, there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So here we are. Now I see I had gotten the super chat yesterday, right? So I've been wanting a live stream, right? But like I said, this is an interim set. I'm in the middle of a move. Well, I guess I've moved, but there's still things I have to unpack and stuff. I'm still looking for certain things that I don't even know where they are. And this is just like a temporary place until I move again 2 to 3 months from now. So, there's a lot of flux. But I didn't think I was ready to do live streams yesterday with where I had the setup. I couldn't figure out the lighting situation and all that. And I was thinking about trying to stream yesterday. And I went to StreamYard, which is my streaming software for when I do like the podcast and things like this, right? And I did not realize that it had automatically scheduled a live stream for around when I was like an hour ahead of when I was experimenting. And so I walked away after messing with some things, trying to get the lighting and other things like set up appropriately, not realizing that the software had already publicly scheduled a live stream. And so some of you were probably like here yesterday, like, what's going on? Why isn't he going live? And what's extra weird is that, I mean, yeah, like me going live at 8 or on a Tuesday is a normal time period for me to do so, because I was thinking about trying to go live yesterday, but once I was getting into the setup, I realized I needed a little bit more time, which is why we're doing it today. Yesterday I had to go through the figuring out process, and during my figuring out process, a little bit later into the night, I saw that there was like I was getting chats. I was like, why am I getting? Why is this public? What's going on? And then I realized that it was scheduled. So, yeah. That's what happened. I did not realize that StreamYard automatically scheduled a live stream. Like you probably saw, there wasn't even a normal thumbnail. Like it was, yeah. But here we are, hours away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, and we're so close. So anyway, super chat that I promised to read because Metroid Jones had provided a super chat yesterday. Thanks for your content leading up to Switch 2, Andres. It's been fun riding the hype train with you. Thank you, Metroid Jones. I don't know if you're in the chat right now, but I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. And, this is just the beginning. That's the crazy part. We are just getting started. That's, like, when I think about what is upcoming, like, oh, man, like we are just scratching the surface. Mario Kart World, it's been fun. And well, I'm curious. I don't know how I'm going to handle Mario Kart World post launch. We'll see once I play the game. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be at least a couple of videos on it. We'll see. I mean, there's probably going to be at least DLC conversations we'll have about it. I do got something brewing already in regards to Mario Kart and Donkey Kong combined. I want to take a look at the game first and kind of see what's actually in there, right? I need to confirm, right? But I think what we're kind of set up for is basically, and I've theorized this before, but basically Donkey Kong Bananza comes out in July, right? July 17th, so 6 weeks removed from now. And right now, we don't know about Diddy Kong in the game. And I haven't seen this, but I heard that Donkey Kong himself doesn't have that many costumes, which is weird because he's Donkey Kong, right? He's an important character. Why wouldn't he have that many costumes? And Pauline does not have that many costumes. And so this is all interesting because Donkey Kong Bonanza is a mainline Donkey Kong game, right? Maybe they're going to release some new costumes for Donkey Kong from Bonanza and lead up to that event so they don't spoil things. They're not going to do it now so they don't spoil things, but in lead up as cross promotion, they will do so. And then also Rosalina. Now I said Rosalina. Pauline. I'm sorry. Pauline, right? We've seen the Korean leak about Pauline being a side character or someone, or like Pauline's cousin or nephew, niece, some young little girl. Like, yeah. There might be something there, maybe. And so maybe there's going to be more costumes released for her. And then Diddy Kong and perhaps other Kongs might be released as well in celebration of Bonanza and also cross-promotion. And that may explain why these things are hidden right now. Again, until we play Mario Kart World and see what kind of content it has to offer, hard to say for sure. But if all of that is just hidden, and by hidden I mean it's not in the game, right? Like we can't actually unlock it, then I think that kind of lends itself towards there's going to be a free update leading up to the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza in a few weeks. So I think there's something to that idea. Now, this idea, right, it's not just that, right? There's also, we recently heard from the producer, he was asked about Diddy Kong, and he said he can't speak on it right now, right? He can't say anything more, which implies that there's something going on that he's not at liberty to say, right? Like if there was no plans, he could say there are currently no plans, or, like he didn't deny Diddy Kong. He said he can't talk about it, which means there's probably something planned. Does that mean the plan is soon? It does not mean the plan is soon. It could be years from now. I hope it's not years from now. It's really soon. But yeah, there do seem to be some things that are aligning for something big Donkey Kong related. Tying in both Mario Kart and Bonanza. Yeah, I'm pulling up the chat here so I can see it. There, I see that. Very good. Okay, yeah, if I have this here, I can see that. Okay, there we go. Sweet Ride 95, going to Costco. Going to try Costco app tonight, still looking for a Switch 2. If you go tomorrow, you might be able to walk in the morning and pick one up. So that's an idea. Like if you already have the Costco membership, there's already like, a certain limitation of people that can get in there. If you just go to Costco tomorrow in the morning, you might just find one. So I would try that. Neon Drifter adds me, when will you stop being so cool? When I die. Thank you for thinking I'm cool. I appreciate you. I just be whatever I am. Nature music quiet, not to be confused with P. Diddy. Nah, Diddy Kong's the only Diddy in my life. Dark Shadow Rage. Yo, and it's going to ship my Switch 2 today, and it's getting here tomorrow by 10 a.m. Ooh. Nice. I'm happy for you. Very happy for you. Having hope, I'm glad you liked the new setup. DRL Tolkien asks me, what a long, strange trip it's been, eh? It has been a long, strange roller coaster of a trip. And now we're going to start a whole other journey. This journey is on another level. Flat and motionless. You have an OnlyFans? I do not. I don't think it fits within my values. I'd be too ashamed of myself. Also, I doubt I'd make that much from it. But I will tell you this: I posted this in one of my friend group chats on WhatsApp today because I got a notification from Domino's. I don't have OnlyFans, but I have Domino's, right? And I mean, I'll just share with you. Can you read that? Hold on. I'm trying to get it to hot, melty, and ready for you. This week only, enjoy a carry-out deal on large 2-topping pizzas. Deal ends June 8th. And in my chat, I said, who needs OnlyFans when you have Domino's? I just thought it was kind of funny that it started with a hot, melty, and ready for you. That's choice words. So I just thought it was funny. Alma, you're going to be playing Mario Kart World in a couple hours. I'm a little jealous, to tell you the truth. A little jealous. I don't think my Switch 2 is coming today. Seems pretty unlikely at this point. And I hope I don't have to wait till 10 p.m. tomorrow. I hope, it says arrives tomorrow by 10 p.m. I really hope it arrives way earlier than that, in the morning. Although, admittedly, it might benefit me for it to come in the afternoon, when I'm done with the day's video. Because if I get the Switch 2, I'm gonna be, it's gonna be on my mind, right? It might be easier for me to just get the video done. That's motivation to go to sleep early. But then I'm gonna be so eager. I don't know if I'll be able to go to sleep. So there's that. I don't know. I will also say I've had a pretty busy day. Today I had to work on a sponsor thing, right? Obviously today's video, we're live streaming now, but before that, I played basketball. So so I've done one thing to next. Hopefully I'm exhausted enough that I'll be all right. I'll be able to just kind of go to sleep. I have realized that if I read a book It helps. I started the Wheel of Time series. I'm very early on. I'm trying to get back into reading. I think it'll be good for me to get back into it. Not only because when it puts me to sleep, but two, I think it'll just be good to, reading's healthy for you. So. Southeastern GA and SCWX. It is a mock-up Switch 2. I do not have the real Switch 2 yet. I really hope I get it soon. I mean, I should be getting it tomorrow, so no, Rob. That is, I should just put like a banner. Not a real Switch. I should just throw it out. I'm not gonna throw it out. I should just hide it at this point. Darcy, that's a good question. I wonder how long the system transfer is going to take. I think that's probably going to depend on, how much you personally have to transfer. My Switch it's got a lot. It's got a lot. So I think it's probably going to take a while for me. So, yeah. Yeah. Tim A. Pong by Atari. I have my Switch 2 games and accessories pre-ordered at Best Buy. I hope they let you pick them up at midnight launch. They're still preparing status with 3.5 hours before midnight. Okay. Yeah, so what I have, my plan, right? So I have at GameStop pre-ordered the Switch 2 Pro controller and Cyberpunk. I'm debating if I should go tonight for the midnight release and pick it up, or if I should just pick it up tomorrow morning. Because quite frankly, I mean, if I'm not getting that, I am not really all that excited about waiting in a line at midnight to get a controller and a game. Like I'm kind of thinking maybe I can just pick it up tomorrow, right? It's not like the pre-order. I think the pre-order should last 24 hours, right? I think. Do I have the? I don't know where my pre-order paper is, but I'm sure it's something like. Now I'm really curious. No, this is garbage. I don't know where I put that. I'll figure it out later. I assume that they'll give me a grace period. I know there's no way that they won't let me pick it up tomorrow morning. There's no way. So, well, of course, there's the other part of me that just kind of wants to have it. So, there's that. Mr. L. Soon the Switch 2 Pro speculation can begin. It has already begun, to be honest with you. So I think the Switch 2 is running on an 8-nanometer process, right? They could have maybe done like 5 or 4. So, and also Samsung apparently is pushing for Nintendo to adopt OLED for Switch 2. So it may be the case that, let's say I'd say 4 years from now, they may release a Switch 2 that's on a 5-nanometer process with an OLED. Has better overall power consumption. So yeah, Ruby's doing well. I'm surprised that she's not hanging out in the room. No, she's normally hanging out in here, but lately she does it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I want her in here, but she's like, "Oh, I see. You want me here, so therefore I'm not going to be here." But no, she's already in here like 90% of the time. I'm actually glad that she's staying out a little bit because she was the move was took a little bit for her to adjust. So the fact that she's hanging out elsewhere is a good thing. Yeah. So let's talk about something. I'm gonna create a community poll. I'm curious on what you guys think of this. When is the next Nintendo Direct? All right, I was trying to create a community poll, but it didn't give me the option for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, when is the next Nintendo Direct? Yes. next week. The week after. The end of June or early July. Not anytime soon. Let's put up the poll. Let's see what you guys think. When is the next Nintendo Direct? Next week, the week after, the end of June or early July, not anytime soon. So I've talked about this in a few of my videos. I'm assuming most of you kind of know what I'm going to get at here, but there have been a variety of different like Nintendo Direct rumors and things, right? So we have PH Brazil and Nintendo both have said that they heard a Direct supposed to happen this week or next week. Really doubt it's this week, right? I didn't even put that in as a poll option. Like, there's no way. There's like, I guess they could announce a Direct tomorrow for Friday, but there's no, like, I'm not gonna say I'd eat my shoe, but it's just one of those situations where I think at this point it's safe to say that it's not going to happen. Of course, you know, nothing's impossible. It's just extremely unlikely at this point. Next week, on the other hand, I do think makes a lot of sense in terms of timing. However, we look at the last 3 years, all Nintendo Direct stuff in June have happened in the second half of the month, right? Which would place us in the week after next week, the third week, or possibly late June. I'll open up early July. Maybe they want a little bit of space between the launch of Switch 2. Like, you know, that's why I put those poll options there. But something interesting has happened because Nintendo's now a partner officially of Summer Games Fest. So does that mean that they are going to participate in Summer Games Fest similar to how they would have participated in it at E3? And if that's the case, does that mean we are getting an early June Direct? But because Switch 2 is launching this week, they're going to save it for next week? Possibly. Now, another interesting thing to point out, Nate the Hate, who has a history of hearing about Directs when they are actually happening shortly beforehand, hasn't heard anything yet. Now, maybe he hears something soon, but he hasn't heard anything yet. So there, for that reason alone, I think there's reason to be skeptical because normally he hears about something. However, Nashville today also said that he hasn't heard about a Direct per se, but he has heard that there are supposed to be some substantial announcements happening soon to follow the launch of Switch 2, which I assume would be next week. Maybe that's a Direct. Maybe that's just some really cool announcements that happen at Summer Games Fest, which we already know Nintendo's officially partnered with Summer Games Fest. What does that partnership amount to? We do not know, but they haven't been partnered in this way before, so it's got to mean something. May just mean some really awesome third-party game announcements for Switch 2, perhaps some exclusives, perhaps some really interesting versions, right? I've told you guys in some of my videos, I'm very excited for this apparent leak of Crimson Desert coming to Switch 2. So there was a GameStop listing of the game coming to Switch 2, and Crimson Desert looks like a hyper-realistic Tears of the Kingdom fused with like Assassin's Creed and a few other things, and maybe like, you know, like the Wukong game as well. Like, it's kind of all that combined, and it looks pretty darn cool. Like, I'm very interested in Crimson Desert, especially because recent impressions have been quite positive on the game. And if there's a Switch 2 version, like I'm like, all right, well, maybe that'll be pretty good. We keep hearing about some games running pretty well on Switch 2. Cyberpunk comes to mind. Today we just learned about No Man's Sky is getting a pretty significant update on Switch 2, which is that is cool. I'll also say that this gets me more excited for Light No Fire. Because it's made by the same developer. Light No Fire may come to Switch 2 and may run pretty well. And so, you know, those are some possible announcements. Maybe we hear about Resident Evil or Monster Hunter from Capcom. Like, there's some big third-party things we could hear about during Summer Games Fest that at least would have me excited. Perhaps some of you watching as well. Yeah. Neon Drifter. Yeah, right? Light No Fire, I think is going to be crazy cool. So and now that they figured things out after No Man's Sky, I think there's more reason to be positive on Light No Fire. Now, No Man's Sky over many years has progressively gotten better with all these different updates. Will Light No Fire launch as good. We'll see. Maybe we'll get, a Kirby Air Riders update would be nice. Like, so, I mean, to be clear, right? If we do not get a Nintendo Direct, I am skeptical that we will learn about first-party Nintendo games. However, we could perhaps look at Summer Games Fest as kind of like an expanded partner showcase. And when we think about it from that perspective, as an expanded partner showcase, a big part of that is just a lot of third-party games that can come to the console. However, it may include some partner projects, right? Partner projects that could even be using some Nintendo IP. So, for example, perhaps Koei Tecmo would want to show off Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Actually, let me take a look. Is Koei Tecmo a part of the Summer Games Fest? I don't know if they are, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to check. Okay. So, pulling this up, and let me share it with you all so we can take a look together here. Let's see. Present. Yeah. All right. 505 Games. Bandai Namco. Okay. CD Projekt. Pearl Abyss. Maybe we see Crimson Desert announced for Switch 2. I don't see Koei Tecmo here. I thought I saw Capcom's there. Microsoft is also a part of the presentation, right? PlayStation's there. Yeah, Xbox is right here. So we can see some Xbox Studio games announced even for Switch 2. So that would be interesting. Yeah. Square Enix, that's a big one. All right, so I don't see Koei Tecmo here. If I saw Koei Tecmo, I'd be like, hey, maybe we see, Age of Imprisonment. Of course, just because it's not here doesn't mean there won't be something announced soon. But that would be an idea of a partner project, though, right? So maybe there's another third-party game even using a Nintendo IP that could possibly be announced relatively soon. Or what if, like, Xbox Studios announces, like, hey, like a Banjo-Kazooie game that's obviously coming to Xbox, but also Switch 2. Or Jet Force Gemini, or even Perfect Dark. Like, Perfect Dark, we already know is in development. We get an update on that. Like, that would be interesting. So, I mean, that's something that I think would be cool. Okay, so I see here. Sam Talks Games. Thank you for the super chat. What's up, everyone? Switch 2 is finally upon us. Andres, I'll have to hop on another stream soon if you'd like. Nights are free for me now. Great. Love to have you on, for sure. Let me check something here. I don't like how this is set up. Is it because I have this? If I hide this? Hold on. I'm trying to adjust something here. No, I hate that. Hate that. No. No, hate it. Hate it. Hate that too. I wanted the square smaller because I feel like it blows up the screen too much. Disgusting. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'll leave it at like that. It's fine. Anyway. Yeah, man. But Sam, for sure, just let me know. But I'll be happy to have you on. And Switch 2, yes, is finally upon us. Sky Sword Alyssa, yeah. Switch 2 hype. Karen, do I need help? I need help all the time. Johnny Gilbert said, waiting outside Best Buy right now. Ooh, good luck. Bushpick, in Australia on our way to pick up Switch 2. Excited to play it today. Oh. I'm jealous. Global Force Booster. I'm guessing that Bloodstained game will be on Switch 2, already announced for everything else. Interesting point. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's take a look where the poll's at right now. So, wow. We have 82 votes so far in 9 minutes. And currently, the most voted option is for a Nintendo Direct next week. The second option is the end of June or July, right? So percentage-wise, next week is at 47%. End of June or early July is 27%. The week after, 17%. And 10% have said not anytime soon. So we only have 10% of us being Debbie Downers, like being disappointing. Like, okay. But also, what if you're right? You know, some people have speculated that maybe, you know, like Nintendo's shown so much that there's no need for anything else. Like, what'll happen is that they'll just tell us about Donkey Kong Bonanza outside of a Direct. And that's a possibility. By the way, I guess technically, if they announced a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, like a Donkey Kong Bonanza specific Direct, I would be excited for that, right? Like, I'd be very, very, very eager for that. But that's not what I'm alluding to here. I'm alluding to a big general presentation that announces the next wave of games, gives us release dates for a variety of games, third party and first party. That's what I'm sort of looking towards. Like, when is the release date for Metroid Prime 4? What is the November game, right? Is Age of Imprisonment going to make it out this year? You know, like things like that. When is Kirby Air Riders coming out? We do need some gameplay for that game. So there are a lot of questions we have still for this year's lineup. And we don't really have much solid release dates after Bonanza. Like, we have Mario Party Jamboree. So like after July, I understand we have the Kirby Switch 2 edition in August, but that's really, I guess Legends Z in October. But the point is that there's holes. There's a lot of vacancies post July. Starting in August, there's probably more things that need to fill in those months. And so I think a Nintendo Direct very likely needs to happen before August. It could, in theory, happen in July, but you kind of assume that with Mario Party and Donkey Kong coming out the second half of July, unlikely for a Direct to happen during that time. I mean, historically speaking, it always happens late, you know, the second half of June or maybe the second week of June. It might work out because of Summer Games Fest. Maybe they do it early July, like they could. But yeah, I mean, I think just, you know, common sense wise, I feel that the best thing to think is most likely in June. But I'll put it out there. I don't want to put too much stock into this. I alluded to this the other day on Nintendo Prime stream. I just called them up randomly. For those of you who are watching, you may have seen me there, and I kind of talked a little bit about the Direct situation. I do not know when the Direct is, so we're clear. I do not know. There simply have been murmurings, and the murmurings have been inconsistent. Take that for what you will. That's all I'll say on that. And again, I do not know what it will be. Link exists. Thank you for the super chat. Happy launch day, big bro. Here's to a new gen. Here's to a new generation. Cheers. This is water. Or is it? It's water. For now. Yeah. Okay. So it seems like more and more people are buying into a Direct happening next week. I'll leave that up for a while. That's fine. Connor asks me, can you help me? So my dad is helping me get the Switch 2 early, but my sister's boyfriend wants me to wait to get it because of the issues for it and get it at Best Buy. What should I do? Because of the issues for it and get it at Best Buy, what should I do? Connor then says, they better give us new information, gameplay, and the release date for Kirby Air Riders, because I hope Sakurai shows up and tells us about it. I think, it's pretty reasonable to think that a direct is happening in this summer, and then whenever we see the summer direct, be it June or July or whenever, we will get an update on Kirby Air Riders because it is slated for this year. So that I think it's a pretty safe expectation. I'm trying to understand your question in regards to needing help. Listen, I think you should try if it's within the means, without causing a stir with your family, right? Like if you all want to get it, try to get it sooner because they're going to sell out. It might be hard to get it at first, right? If you're willing to wait, then, eventually you're going to get it, right? Like you're going to find one available. But if you're trying to get it early, it is going to be a little bit more of a mission. So keep that in mind. We have heard that Costco will have some Switch 2s. We've heard that Target will have some Switch 2s, like if you didn't pre-order. So I think just going in, to Target early in the morning, day one, and also day two, you might run into one Costco as well. So give that a whirl. If you haven't had one pre-ordered, maybe you find one there. My main bit of advice is to follow Jake Randall because he's a master of this kind of stuff. He will give you the best advice when it comes to finding that console. So definitely I would do that. And if you're worried about like the Switch 2 having issues because it's a day one console or an early console, listen, if there is an issue, Nintendo's going to patch that, right? Or they will fix it for you. Within that first year, there is a warranty. I think it's unlikely you'll run into issues. It's possible. To be clear, when it is understood, right, that if you are an early adopter, you are at the highest risk to run into issues with your console. I will also add, though, and we'll see what happens, right? Maybe what I'm about to say is going to age poorly. But given how long we've waited for Nintendo Switch 2, I feel like any sort of issues they would have had likely should have been ironed out by now. Now, I'm sure there still can be issues because there's online stress tests and things like that. But it feels like at least from everything that's available day one, they should have been ready. Is my main point. It's not like they've been rushing to get the console out. They've been taking their sweet time. Fun fact. So there was a leak back in 2023 for a Pokemon Presents. And in there, it also mentioned an enhanced version of Scarlet and Violet being worked on for Switch 2. And it was supposed to come out for the holiday or something like that. It did not, right? But everything else about that leak has proven true. Now that we've gone the significant Scarlet and Violet update, it seems that everything about that leak was true except for the release date of the console. And so what that suggests is that the console, there was a plan to get this console out way earlier. Did not happen. This console internally has likely been delayed repeatedly, which just kind of goes to serve my point that Nintendo has taken their time to get this console out there. And so if we get this console and there's a whole bunch of people running into tech issues day one, I think Nintendo would be to blame there. I think that, they've had more than enough time to iron out these details. I understand that maybe, once you put something out in mass, right, more issues can arise. So there is a little bit of that. But, I definitely think that, it's a highly unlikely we're going to run into, a red ring of death situation. For those who are unfamiliar with that phrase, it's from the Xbox 360 era. So there was a great deal of Xbox 360s in 2005 that would basically become bricks. They would see the red ring of death because normally it was a green ring, like a little green light that would show up by the power button for an Xbox 360. But if there's something wrong, it would be the red ring. And then this was common at launch, and it usually meant your console was bricked. I remember my cousins had gone to 360, and then it bricked, and then they got another one, and then it bricked again. They had to get a third 360 in order to get it actually functioning properly, right? So there were issues like that. So yeah, I would say that that's a very unlikely scenario. So basically, go for a Switch 2 now if you can, if it's reasonable. If not, hey, wait a little bit, you'll be fine. I have been under the weather lately, by the way. That's another thing that's kind of impacted my productivity. So as you see, as I'm talking, my nose is it's like getting clogged. But well, we're okay. We can go on for another 20 minutes or so, maybe more. We'll see. Joycey J with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Started from the pro rumors. Now we're here. Now we hear 10th gen is starting off right. Here we go. Yeah. The rumors will never die. They'll find their way through their cracks. You know, I think it's funny. I've always talked about rumors and leaks, like from the very beginning. So, you know, after the switch to direct, I guess I just find it interesting. There were some people kind of giving me flack for talking about rumors, and I'm like, did I sign some sort of agreement? Did I make some sort of statement that I would not talk about rumors anymore? Like, that's always been a part of the conversation for me. Not going to stop. Now, I think for those who follow me know that the rumors I talk about are coming from places that, in general, show some semblance of credibility, right? Like, I try to talk about something that's nonsensical. Not saying, you know, there have been times I've talked about things and have realized afterwards, oh, maybe I shouldn't have talked about them. Like, that has happened, right? I think I've gotten better over time. And, you know, there are times where, for example, let's talk about Samus Hunter. I do not talk about Samus Hunter anymore. Why? Because they haven't got anything right recently. It's that simple. But last year, they got some significant announcements correct in a row, right? So when they got one or two things, I was like, all right, I'm waiting. But once they started getting more, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, like now I'm gonna start talking about them. So I talked about them for a while. They said a lot of things. Then it started showing that, like, whatever they had a spree of correctness in 2024, but entering 2025, everything was wrong. So stop talking about them because the level of credibility was shown to be very poor, right? But if for whatever reason they start sharing things again, and there is a record of correctness that we start to see, right? If they start getting a lot of things right in a row, we'll look at that, and I'll have to consider the circumstances, right? Because maybe they're stealing it from someone else or something. Point is, right? I try to talk about things that there's got to be something behind it that gives me reason to believe that it could be true. Doesn't mean it is true, which is why we say it's a rumor, right? But it could be true. Even the people who are super credible, right? Like I always find this interesting. Like, for example, I mean, Nate the Hate, right? I think Nate the Hate absolutely has inside sources, should be taken seriously, we should be paying attention to, right? If they say something, absolutely take into consideration. However, that does not mean they get everything right. In fact, they get a lot of things wrong, not because I think there's anything wrong with them, by no stretch. I think they're one of the better leakers out there. But this is just kind of the name of the game. This is the business, right? Like, if you're talking about things before they officially confirmed, there's a lot of things that can lead to something not happening, right? So we've been waiting on the Fire Emblem remake, which was, you know, reported by Nate the Hate. We've been waiting on Kirby Planet Robot, also reported by Nate the Hate. They have not materialized. Planet Robot specifically was supposed to come out this year, and I don't know when that's happening. You know, we're getting Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, or Kirby's Return. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. We're getting Kirby in the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World Nintendo Switch 2 edition. That is a mouthful, but we're getting that plus Kirby Air Riders. So it just seems unlikely that there would be another Kirby game announced. However, if you think about how they may want to put out some games for just Switch 1 owners, then maybe there's some wiggle room there, right? Anyways, I'm just going on a rant because if it's a rumor, even if it's coming from someone who gets things right, it can still be wrong. For whatever reason, plans may have changed. Maybe there is some conflation. There are possibilities there. It does not mean that that person's a sham, a liar. That's not what it necessarily means. That's why you have to take a look at their track history and decide if there's credibility there. Yeah. Switch Pro rumors, actually, Nate the Hate was also responsible for a lot of Switch Pro rumors too. And we've seen evidence that those were legitimate claims. It's just Nintendo went in a different direction, which is part of the risk when you're talking about rumors. Plans can change. So, yeah. Coming back to live chat. Art Vandelay. Mr. Vandelay. My son works at Costco. They have 150 consoles and pro controllers. Dude, I may tell my brother to go to Costco to get a second Switch 2 Pro controller. Sky Sword Alyssa, what's the first thing you're doing in Mario Kart World? Going to see those dragons? Good question. Well, I've since learned that they are technically not dragons. I do want to check them out, though. I do want to see if I can ride them. I don't know if that's the first thing I'm going to do. At first, I will tell you this. Because we had gone some binocular footage of Mario Kart World a few days ago. And it was showing Daisy's castle that's just beyond Shigar Bazaar. And there is a UFO orbiting around the castle. And I saw that there was like lines, like rope lines connecting to the different like spires of the castle. And you could get to the top. In theory, it looks like you grind in all these different like pieces of rope to the top. And if you have a feather, you might be able to use that with the right timing to leap on top of the UFO. Like that's what I was thinking about doing as one of the first things I would do in the game. But then literally the day afterwards, previews came out and we saw that this is just something that you can find randomly throughout the world, and it scoops you up and you can become a UFO, just abducting objects all throughout the world and then flying really high up, which is really cool. But I don't know. I think what makes the most it's tough because I really want to like just explore. But I also think, like, I'm going to get the console and, my brother's also going to be here because I'm staying with my brother right now. And I think we're going to want to play. So I don't know. We might just do, like, the Grand Prix. Like, the first Grand Prix we saw in the treehouse, which may seem kind of boring. But, I think sometimes the best way to start is just, hey, Mario Kart Grand Prix, and the thing is, like, I'm gonna explore everything, right? Like, I'm gonna do everything I can in this game. I'm gonna 100% it. Like, I'm so good at it. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm gonna 100% Mario Kart World, unless there's something like Korok's Seeds. Korok Seeds were a little much for me, but I'm doing all the missions. I'll probably get all the medallions and coin blocks. Like, of course, I'm gonna drop 60 pieces on every single Grand Prix and whatever the score would be for knockout. I guess just first and knockout tour, right? So, but I will say this: once I start doing the free roam, I am going to be looking at things and be like, huh, that looks impossible to reach. I'm going to try and go there. Like that is going to be a big part of my gameplay experience. Connor adds me. In Nate's podcast, he did not mention the Kirby Planet Robot HD remake, so I wonder if the Del Pack for Triple Deluxe and Planet Robot could still happen in the June Direct. I mean, I don't think it will happen, but maybe. You never know. Fonto, Switch 1 was selling so well, the delayed Switch 2 released for up to 2 years. Why release a new console before sales tapered off? Why release a console before sales taper off? I mean, ideally you want to pick the right time, once a console is running out of momentum. So you can kind of transition, right? Like you don't want to wait too long, but you also don't want like there is a sweet spot, right? Because typically how a console sales trajectory is going to go, like you have the first year, second year, and the third or fourth year is where they peak, then they start going down. Now, Switch kind of, I think because of the pandemic, peaked a little bit earlier than it would have. And then it kind of maintained, and it was going down. It's been going down for like the last 4 years or so, but slowly, right? And now it's starting to really taper off. I think the titles will be fine, right? I mean, you look at the price of the console. I think what's interesting though is that timing wise, with when you consider the tariff situation and all, it seems like there's been some complications. But then also there is the value of the yen last year, so like there's a lot of conditions that I'm sure that they had to weigh, and so it's tricky. You know, Nintendo may not have made the right decision in waiting this long, but also maybe they did, right? Like we've heard about how long Mario Kart World's been in development. We have some theories on how long Donkey Kong Bonanza's been in development. They may have like a pretty decent lineup ready. Just because they haven't shown it yet doesn't mean there aren't other things that they have kind of waiting, you know, at the ready. Fonto, Final Fantasy Tactics should come to Switch 2 too, which was shown on today's State of Play. I haven't seen that yet, but I heard that. That sounds awesome. Wilberforce Booster, Nate had the podcast saying a Switch 2 event March 2024, and a day later PHPO came out with a delay rumors. Yeah. So what's funny is that I had heard that it was happening March 2024 as well, and I started writing with it once I heard other people, and then literally right after reports started coming out, that's not when it's happening. It's funny how these things work out. Boo Mini has gifted a membership. Who won this membership? Who's the lucky winner this time? Who did it? Wily Tiger. Congratulations. Thank you, Boo Mini. Welcome, Wily Tiger. Netweed09. Also, Bananza to come. What a game that is. Banana. Woo. Yeah. Bonanza's going to be hype. I mean, I don't know. I don't know like what I'm going to be more hyped for, Bonanza or Kart World. Like Bonanza's going to be like that big adventure, right? So usually I get excited for that. But then Mario Kart World has the free roam, which is appealing to that sense of adventure for me. So I'm just happy. Like I don't know what I'll like more. I know I'm going to like both a lot. So it's all good. I'm just so ready. We're in for such a good time. And what's crazy, and we still have Pokemon and Metroid Prime 4 to come out this year, and I am so confident that there's going to be something else that's big. And then there's the little things like Air Riders, which will be fun. We have some pretty big third-party games. Age of Imprisonment, we'll see. You know, there's some stuff. Jacob, hey Andres, good to see you again, bro. Have not talked to you since your basketball entry. Hype train now for Switch 2. I guess my question is, which basketball injury? The one where I busted my lip, which is still like a scar? Or are we talking about when I got kicked in the groin and I thought I had a hernia for like 3 weeks? And it's normal now, but yeah, there's a little bit of minor discomfort I feel here and there. Like there's definitely like some residual like scar tissue or bruising. New season starting soon. Can't wait. I'm already Googling suits of armor. So I'll be well protected. Contra 3 added me. What do you think of the Mortal Kombat Legacy announcement? Well, I haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not that big of a Mortal Kombat guy. I'll tell you that. I'm not saying I haven't played Mortal Kombat. I've played Mortal Kombat. Who hasn't? But I'm not a giant Mortal Kombat person, so I just don't have that much of an opinion on it, honestly. But when was there an announcement? Like this is a recent thing? Now I am curious. Mortal Kombat Legacy. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection launches on PS5, PS4 this year. Okay, so this is announced. Like I haven't seen the state of play, so like any. All right, I mean, maybe I could watch a trailer with you guys. You can watch a trailer. Oh, what is my birthday? Oh, this is Mortal Kombat after all. Might be okay. All right, let's check out this. It's only 90 seconds. So Okay. Let me first lower the background music a little bit. So we can play this. All right. Mortal Kombat. Here we go. Like before.
We knew pretty early on that the game was fun to play. People were excited about it.
Oh.
The most rewarding part of it is just seeing people react to it.
Oh.
We knew that we were onto something.
It was such a shock to see this game. I was like, I can't believe this game exists.
Okay. Yeah, it was very special.
It became something that added to the mystique of Mortal Kombat.
We're showing you a part of a world that is much larger.
What?
There was no template to make the games. It's a bit of the Wild West.
Every part of that game is an expression of who we were and what we wanted to do.
Flawless victory.
Man, I do like Mortal Kombat music, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean I think that's cool. You know, like I definitely think it's cool. Is it like my thing? It's not my thing. You know, we see fighting game collections with some frequency, but if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, I mean, yeah, that's fire. And I love that they kind of show the arcade stuff. Like I'm very into arcades. You know, someday I want to invest into a special style of arcade. I want to find a way to kind of bring arcades back. Like I know we got the barcades, but I think that there needs to be something more. It's not enough. So I've been brainstorming. It's a future business idea. It just hopefully make the capital to invest in this idea in a few years. So fingers crossed the channel blows up so I can afford to bring arcades back to humanity. It'd be nice. Yeah, let's put this back. Yeah, I remember playing Mortal Kombat like in the 90s. I was a little kid. Like, my dad had it on PC. I'm trying to remember. Like, we're talking about like 96, sometime between 90, maybe 1995, 1996. I had access to Mortal Kombat on PC. I mean, I'm sure that rolls into 97 as well. There was a period of time in my life where I lived in Georgia. So I was born in Miami, Florida, but my dad for work we had to kind of move to Georgia for a couple of years. So I think between the years of 94, 96-ish, I don't know exactly, right? But it was like a 2.5 year period of time that I was in Georgia. And during that time, I remember there was a place we were staying at, and I remember playing Mortal Kombat on the PC. And I also remember we had like, I was a little kid. I was very little. Yeah. This is like so random. I don't even know if anyone cares to hear this detail, but I remember like under the computer, like there was like a plastic kind of like surface, like, where you put your feet, right? But under it, there were like spikes, like sharp spikes that would kind of embed into the carpet. You don't really see that kind of thing anymore, but I feel like that was a thing of the 90s. So for anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, so it was, I would remember playing with the spikes, like, oh, this is sharp. This is sharp. Like I was kid, just messing around. Boomity. Yeah. If you guys get me to 1 million subscribers, that real subscribers, right? If I have 1 million real subscribers, I probably would make the capital to invest in some my concept for bringing back arcades. I don't want to fully convey the idea because that the idea might be stolen, right? But the idea is to bring back arcades in a way. It'll be something new, but not the same. Like it'll be a kind of like a merger, like bring in the old but merging it with a new. And it's not necessarily just arcades, right? Like I look at things like playing Dungeons and Dragons and card games, kind of bringing that in, right? Like maybe also like I guess the core concept of the idea. I'm kind of like I'm like revealing more of the idea than I should, but the core concept is to create an environment where the kind of people that like staying inside, like my idea of a good time, right? Like I'm not saying I like going out, right? But for me, the more fun things are going out aren't going out to bars or clubs. Like that's very okay and overpriced to me. What I enjoy is going on adventures, right? Like if it's some sort of beach trip or a park or going to another country, like that's cool. Hiking, that's cool stuff, right? But what I really enjoy in terms of like hanging out with friends and stuff and family is going to someone's house or my house, and we have kind of like a night together of playing Smash Brothers or playing zombies or a board game of some kind, Catan or whatever. Like that's fun. That to me, that's my idea of a good time, right? Like we have snacks and drinks, and that's what we do. So I kind of want to incorporate that element, right? Like the kind of people that just kind of enjoy hanging out at home, but kind of create a calming, chill environment where there's that incorporating the arcade as well, like making it not super hectic. Like it's cool, but it's not like, because sometimes I go to a barcade and it's just not chill. Like I want it to be chill. So there might need to be there's a lot of angles to this, but yeah. So there you go. Shane Williams says here, your voice sounds a lot different live than on your videos. I think, well, one, I am not sure how the audio is coming in. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I don't really have much soundproofing in right now, so that's probably impacting the quality of the audio. There's probably a lot of reverberation in the room. Also, when I do edit my videos, I do clean up the audio, right? So that probably makes a difference. Also, when I am live streaming, it's less theatrical presentational, right? So I'm a little bit more chill. That same energy, I can't continue for an hour to 2 hours. I just can't do it. So that those different factors probably impact why you may think my voice sounds different. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but my voice sounds different all the time for different reasons, depending on the time of day, depending on how sick I may be, which always varies. I'm constantly like I sneeze and I get stuffy noses, and I definitely have that right now. So stuff like that happens if I work down the day. Like there's so many little things that impact how I may sound. Yeah. So. Saint Jimmy, bro, single-handedly walked me through this pain-aching wait for my Switch 2. I commend you, sir. Saint Jimmy, I'm glad I could help. Now you are free. You've made it to the Switch 2. I hope you still watch as we talk about all the games and stuff coming to Switch 2 and analyzing them to Kingdom Come. But I'm glad I got you here. I helped. Yeah. Wolverine Switch 2. Finally saw the 007 game that we know is coming to Switch 2. Oh, man. I gotta check this out. I gotta check this out. What other games should we take a look at that were in the state of play? Like, oh, there it is. 007 First Light. Let's go. Okay. We're watching this. All right. Let's check it out. By the way, let me know if there's like any weird lag or anything. Like, because if there is, then I'll probably just not watch them live like this. But I've seen this app lag before when I do this, but hopefully it's fine. Double checking the chat to see if you guys have anything to say on that. Yeah, let me know if there's any lag, but let's full screen this. All right, here we go. I'm already disappointed.
His parents cut their own rope to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain.
Nice.
He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Always at odds with authority. Same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
I'm intrigued, actually. I'm intrigued.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
Oh,
Shouldn't have.
dude. Oh, man. All right, I'm in.
We're facing a
I'm in.
situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
I'm in.
009 is a master
shoot his butt.
manipulator. Whatever the end game is, we won't see it coming.
Okay.
Jet lag. Gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
With respect, Mom.
A lot
To
of
hell with that.
cinematics.
Tell me, what do you do, James?
Lately, headhunting.
Again, this is a movie I would watch.
I suppose this is another teachable moment.
Oh, well, all right. I hope it's good. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I'm into it. Definitely into it. Yeah. So I will say, right, like I'm a little concerned about like you know, I don't like games that are overly cinematic, if that makes any it depends. Like honestly, it does depend. I don't know. Sometimes the story will suck me in more, but I think there are many times when a game hasn't really captured me and I'm just kind of watching the cutscenes. I'm like, all right, well, when do I play? Like I'm getting kind of antsy. I want to just play. So I am concerned about games that are overly cinematic. However, you know, I think what's interesting about this one, though, is that this feels like it could be like a legitimate James Bond movie. And I'm not a James Bond expert, so you know, if anyone in the chat's like, "Hey, you got that off," like, feel free to enlighten me. But I mean, it seems fairly clear to me that this is like a beginning, right? Like we are going through the training process, the development of James Bond. Like the moment I saw how young James Bond is in the game, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So this is like us learning, you know, the James Bond story from the get-go. Because, you know, we see all sorts of James Bond stories in the movies and the games, and he's already like, you know, well established, right? So this feels different from that perspective alone, and us being able to go through that training process, that could be interesting, and maybe they could even tie that into the gameplay. I don't know. So I'm intrigued by it. Definitely. Just hopefully, you know, it's executed well. Wilbur post Rooster. Glad it isn't rescanned Hitman. That's fair. Having Hope doesn't look like your kind of game. That's fair. Sky Sword Alyssa, been a member for 18 straight months. Glad to have you. Thank you, Alyssa. Let's see. Ocho, Young Bond, pre-Bond. Yeah. Crazy Scott. Gameplay looks decent. Just don't like the face and the voice they chose. I'm okay with it. Like I'm accept. The thing is, like, he's like a young person. He's trying to find his way. So like that's why I'm like I'm okay with that. I remember playing some Bond games when I was younger, both on N64, but also GameCube. There are some good ones. Yeah. Are there any other games that were in the state of play that I should check out? Feel free to. I don't mind. I don't mind watching trailers and reacting to them. That's fun. That's easy. Saint Jimmy. I always thought James Bond was more like a code name or title, and that's how they get away with different actors. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but that makes a lot of sense. Like it's a role, right? It's a role that needs to be filled. And so, you can have a James Bond in the 1950s, like literally, like chronologically, and you can have a James Bond in 2050. They could still be James Bond. It won't be the same James Bond, right? But it'll be someone who fills that role. So I do kind of like that concept. Okay, so some of you are suggesting I watch the Bloodstained trailer. Wilberforce says Lumens. Connor says Astro Bot DLC. All right, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Astro Bot. It's Mario Galaxy 3, so why would we not want to watch, Mario Galaxy 3 DLC? Okay. Which one should I pick? There's the IGN version. There's the game trailers version. There's the official PlayStation version that's really old. So okay, I guess I'll pick the I don't know. Why is there two? Oh, this is an older one. I guess I'm picking the IGN trailer. Okay. All right. Let's check this out. Okay. All right. All right. Astro Bot trailer. Here we come.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Ducey, the game director of Astro Bot. It's a pleasure to be back today to share more news with you. What the last few months it has been in the world of Astro. Astro Bot launched last September to such encouraging feedback, even receiving a few orders we are truly grateful for. In October, we added 5 speedrun levels, followed by a Christmas special packed with festive surprises. And then earlier this year, the Vicious Void Galaxy made its appearance, adding yet more new challenging levels, all of which came at no additional cost. And today, I am pleased to announce that later this month, you will be able to enjoy 5 brand new challenge levels in Astro Bot, bringing the total to a whopping 90 planets. And new special bots will be there too, including Atsu from Ghost of Yotei, alongside other fans' favorites, but these ones are a surprise. And finally, the Astro Bot DualSense wireless controller will return later this year, with a slight twist, so be on the lookout for more news coming soon. From all of us at Team Asobi, thank you all for the amazing reception you gave the game, and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, so that wasn't too crazy. It was neat. Like, yeah, all right, sure. I like Astro Bot, so I'll play the free DLC. The controller is cool too, but not that big of a deal, right? So, yeah. However, there's more, right? So there's a Bloodstained thing. I'll check out Bloodstained. All right, Bloodstained came out 4 hours ago. Okay. All right, let's check this out. Bloodstained, here we go. What's so neat about this? Around the 16th century.
The castle has been sighted again. The Church's orders are absolute. These human sacrifices must be stopped.
We will track the ethereal castle, break its gates, and exterminate the creatures that dwell within.
2.5D.
The Demon Lord himself will fall by our hand.
This mission will test the limits of your courage.
You will face horrors beyond your darkest imaginings. Beasts that defy reason.
I like Castlevania, so.
Creatures born of pure darkness.
Mountain Blossom! Die on dog!
What?
On good swap! Riga Toy! Riga Lancris! With me! Cross Reaper!
Tonight, we start our mission!
Neat. I like how it looks, actually. Pretty cool. Oh, but wait, there's more.
So you've come, dogs of the Church, right into the palm of my hand.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Oh no. Oh no. I can't see the live chat. Hold on. Sometimes it crashes on me. Sam Talks asks me, the Castlevania director does Bloodstained. It looks great. Yeah, it does. So do we get another trailer for Silent Hill? Did that also pop up? Is that worth checking out? Silent Hill. Silent Hill F. Okay. All right, this is going to be it's intense violence, blood and gore, partial nudity. Mature 17. So get ready for some explicit content. Here we go. Captured on PS5 Pro. This game can come to Switch too.
どこ行くの？こっち通るの珍しいね。今は誰かと喋りたくて。私も後から行くね。うん。じゃあね。裏切り者。
I want to see gameplay. I hate this. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Run! What are you doing? Okay, gameplay. Oh, that's creepy. That's fine. Yes, don't run. There we go. Oh, Fight back. There we go. There. Yep. Hit it good. Yeah, that was pretty gruesome.
ひなこどこにいるの？ひなこはいいよね。何でも持ってる。そんなあんたがいなくなってくれるんだからせいせいする。一人は嫌だよ。寂しいよ。ずっと一緒だよって。
Yeah. Yeah.
約束したよね。暗いのは嫌。一人ぼっちは嫌。
This game looks good.
錯誤。裏切り者。
Well, that was nice. Any more? Is that it? Okay. Coming out this year. Neat. So I think that was cute. You know, definitely like, you know, a nice little game for children. Definitely. Yeah. I think that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice, fun looking game. I actually like horror games. So I thought it looked pretty good. I liked the what they did with the sound. How sometimes the mannequins would run up on you. So I'm feeling it actually. Will I pick it up? I don't know. It's a lot of games, but it definitely looks like a good game, like a really good horror game. So yeah, cool stuff for sure. Now question is, you know, State of Play had some good stuff. Will Nintendo compete? I am now going to end the poll. By the way, I'm wrapping things up now. So if there's anything you guys want to put out there, ask me any questions or ideas want me to talk about, send it in now because I'm going to wrap things up soon here. The poll ends. Half of you, of the 238 votes, said that you think there will be a direct next week. 25% said the end of June, early July, so presumably that last week of June or the first week or two of July. 14% said the week after. 9% said not anytime soon. Now, I actually find this interesting, that the end of June or early July is 25%. And I'm going to speculate, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? For someone in the chat, you know, who picked this option, that you may have gone for this option because the window of time, the end of June and the early of July, that's a 2 to 3 week period of time, right? Like that's a wider net you're casting there. So it feels like a safer bet as opposed to saying one specific week. And so that's why I'm speculating that this option won out over the week after next. So for someone who picked that option, let me know if that's why you went in that direction. The M52 seems to be confirming that it's a bigger bin. Yes. Okay, cool. You know, and I put options like that because I can only put in 4 poll options, right? So that's why I have like that wider net cast option to kind of get a few more. But still, I think it's actually pretty crazy that we have 50% of people saying next week. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. I want it to be next week. I think it makes sense. But, you know, we've been down this road before, you know? It could just as easily be the week after or the week after that. So we'll see. But I'm definitely looking forward to some announcements, at least throughout Summer Games Fest of some kind. That'll be interesting. And the bigger ones, we'll wait until Nintendo announces them. Connor. Okay, I want to talk about Kirby Air Riders. So for those who are demanding modern Kirby characters and Air Riders, do you remember how the original was structured? Listen, I'm very open to whatever they're going to do with this. It's been such a long time. I'm sure Sakurai is going to do a great job. Sam Talks Games, I beg you, please play Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's my favorite game story in gaming, dude. Your favorite story in gaming. That's high praise. I will give it some consideration. I'm not saying I would never play it. It's just, there's so many things. There's a lot of games on my backlog I haven't even finished yet, or even started for some. Mario. PS5 is the best console right now. The library is superb. Very strong. Very, 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 very strong library. I agree. There's a lot of great games to play on PlayStation 5. Netweed09. I actually cannot wait to explore Mario Kart World, then the Direct. Yeah, I mean, we're so close. I'm gonna double check my my emails here. All right, no cancellation notice. That's a good sign. I'm gonna refresh. Still preparing. Nothing has changed there. Let me check my Pro Controller order. Is that still preparing? Not my Pro Controller order. My my GameCube Switch 2 controller. Because I ordered that too. Last I checked, they just said they're preparing. I wonder if they'll just ship it out tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen. But if I look at my order history, it's still preparing to ship. So I guess they just ship it out tomorrow, and I'll wait 3 to 9 business days. So I'm definitely not getting that controller tomorrow. That's okay. I'll wait. I'll be all right. Jose MC, thank you for the super chat. Give me a first-person 3D version of Metroid Fusion from Retro. First-person 3D version of Metroid Fusion from Retro. So like a Metroid Fusion Prime. It wouldn't be a long game. It'd be short, but it'd be awesome. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like a Prime remake series. I mean, at that point, they're reimaginings, right? I think that's a very interesting idea. Man, if you remake Metroid Fusion Prime style, that's going to be creepy. But then then we're going to be like, all right, well, now remake Metroid Dread Prime style. Like, dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. At that point, maybe you make another Metroid game that's very horror focused. Could be an interesting like side series, I guess. Maybe they do it in third person with some first person elements, right? Like maybe like kind of like not exactly like Other M. I know Other M, like we talk about, that's scary, right? But like I think a Metroid game in third person like isn't, in theory, works. So and especially now because there's a lot of third person shooters that work. I mean, we just watched Silent Hill, right? So like looking at Silent Hill, like obviously I think Metroid played very differently, but really going that direction of like the spooky horror stuff, even if that was like what if it was just like DLC for Prime 4? Like what if Prime 4 has an expansion, and the expansion's like a little mini adventure, and the mini adventure is more of a scary focused kind of side venture, right? Like maybe it's like kind of to your point, like something of Metroid Fusion. Like I remember there was they had this concept of a Metroid Prime 1.5, if I'm not mistaken, and so they were kind of considering of making a Metroid Prime game in a space station where there was like an AI that was trying to kill you, like the computer controlling the space station. It was messing with your mind and stuff. So, they've had those concepts before, and some of that kind of materialized in Prime 2, but then obviously other ideas were canned. if they did like an expansion story for DLC for Prime 4, where you can kind of give us like a little bit of a side venture, that would be great. Or a side game, you know, that, or maybe maybe it's still both actually. Like, cause you look at like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a expansion story, Torn of the Golden Country, was also its own physical release. So they could even handle it that exact same way. So it's the best of both worlds, where if you don't want to play Prime 4 for whatever reason, or we want to buy Prime 4, or the DLC, you can still pay for just this horror version, you know? And it would be a shorter game, you know, but it would be like maybe like a 15-hour horror experience. That'd be cool. It'd be super cool. Could even be short. I don't know how long it would be, but you know, not as long as whatever Prime 4 is, I would assume. Yeah, love the idea. Let's see here. Ferris Wheel Pro hype check. I'm at a 9.769 billion over 10. I'm pretty hyped. Pretty hyped. Yeah. Hold on. I'm done live reacting to State of Play trailers. So I'll put on the background music again. Let's see here. We got another super chat. Watts TV, thank you for the super chat. Just subbed to you recently. Your channel made me pull the trigger and start my own gaming channel. Appreciate you, brother. Glad I could inspire you. You know, it's a long journey, but you know, go for it. You know, do what you enjoy, and it's a learning experience. But if you enjoy it, that's what's most important. Awesome. Glad I could be a part of that. Let's see here. Player 01, are you and Prime no longer friends? Why do you say that? I literally like called him up late last night during one of his live streams. We chatted. This is like 3 days ago. We're friends. I might pop in during a show tomorrow for a little bit. We're good friends. So, yeah. I'm just, you know, I don't really have the time to be on his podcast full time. I don't. I have to do my own thing. Tiara, is it true Sony has cast a male actor to play Princess Zelda for the upcoming live action movie? So we have no official word on who Nintendo has casted, or Sony. They're working together on this, right? There is a rumor that Hunter Schafer, right, is being considered. However, there are other reports that have said that this might just be more of your typical Hollywood agent kind of putting it out there, pushing it, and that this rumor isn't necessarily indicative of Nintendo and Sony considering Hunter Schafer. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who I would want to play Princess Zelda. I don't know who I'd want to play Link either. Yeah, I think whoever they pick, there's going to be controversy. Because these are characters that are very, very important. You know, I think Nintendo has to be very cautious and selective, as I'm sure they will be. So we'll see what they do. Like this is probably a tougher casting choice, like both of them, than Mario was. And I know a lot of people were mad about Chris Pratt being Mario. Honestly, I think he did a great job. I think a lot of people were just afraid of change or are unwelcoming of change, and that kind of impacted the overall perception of him. But I think overall people are okay with what Chris Pratt brought to the movie there. Yeah. So, we'll see what they pick. You know, I'm not expecting to find out until. I mean, I assume we learn about the movie next year for sure, right? Because the movie's coming out March 2027. So we'll see what they pick. There's a lot of great options out there. Anyway, the M52. I'll laugh at my mouth. It's because you're not on every Nintendo Bite, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem guesting on Nate's show. Like, we're friends, but that's it. It's just purely I need to do my own thing. That's literally it. Nothing else. Connor, actually, I mean, I should get the Switch 2 tomorrow. Wait till July 10th to get it. I think, like I said, if you can get it, get it. That's my opinion. Assuming there's no sort of financial struggle or anything like that, I think you should go for it. Ferris Wheel Pro, for a third-person Metro game, just make an Arkham game and replace Batman with Samus. Okay. Yeah. I'm about it. It's a good idea. Justin Fretwell. Got my Switch 2 from Target. Says preparing to ship estimate 10th. Order Cyberpunk separately from Target and arrives tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like every day has felt like, I don't know, like every day I'm like, I want my Switch 2. Like, I normally I'm not like this, actually. Normally, like, even when there's like a big game coming out, I'm like, oh, okay. When it's out, it's out. Like in my older years, right? That's how I've been, because I guess I just have so much going on that, I'm just focused on my day to day, if that makes any sense. And I still have a lot going on now, but I think this is just something that I've been waiting and anticipating for such a long time. It's so different. Like, it's not just a game we're talking about. It's hardware and games, right? It's a lot more. So I'm like, we've been speculating and theorizing about this thing. I just want it in my hands. I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope someday we get a third-person Metroid game as a third pillar of the Metroid series, and it's somewhat like the Arkham games, like Ferris Wheel Pro suggested. Wolverful's Booster, you should have to play all the free update games too. There's a lot of free updates. Yeah, Mario Odyssey looks a lot better. That was neat. Really like that. Echoes of Wisdom with the favorites now. That's awesome. Very awesome. So where are we at? Oh, we've actually been streaming for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm impressed. I've been under the weather lately. I guess let me see if I can end with one more thing. Well, I mean, we're kind of talking about Metroid already, right? Like, maybe we could close out with a few minutes of Metroid chat. Prime 4, right? Like, I think I think Prime. It hasn't hit me. Like, it hasn't really hit me yet that Prime 4 is coming out this year. But sometimes, like, whoa, there's Prime 4. Like sometimes, like, logically, like, it registers like, oh, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year. And that's probably what we're going to see in the direct. Like, we're probably going to see something there. And what I'm really curious, like, I feel like they've definitely been holding back with Metroid, specifically Prime 4. Like, I think there's, call me overhyping it, but I think that we're really just scratching the surface. Like, I think what they've shown so far is just the very beginning. And I'm really waiting for Nintendo to actually I'm really waiting for them to actually, like, get into the mode where they're trying to get us to buy this game. Like, actually, like, really selling it to us. And so once Mario Kart World and Bonanza come out, I think Prime 4 is that next game that they are hard pushing. And I think what's also interesting about this, right, is that from what we know, like, the major games we have this year, Mario Kart World, Bonanza, Prime 4, Pokemon is going to be handled by Pokemon. So Nintendo is going to have Prime 4, and there's some other things, but, like, Prime 4 is going to be a big part of that. Now, I assume there's another game. There's another big game. Another game that's probably going to sell more than Prime 4 that Nintendo's yet to announce to come out this year. I've theorized, as Luigi's Mansion 4 could be. Regardless, though, Prime 4 is going to get a big marketing push, especially if there's not another game. You know, I guess what I'm really looking forward to, though, is seeing what they're holding back about this game. Like, we know we have that key art, and there's this giant desert. Like, what's going on with that? Can we explore the giant desert? Can we use a speed booster in that area? I think that'd be really cool. Man, I'm just excited. I want to see more of the psychic powers and how they're expanding there. The M52. How long do you think Prime 4 main story would be relative to the first raid? Do you think we'll have the collection quest like artifacts, sky temple keys, energy cells? You know, looking at the game, you know, it feels like they are trying to do a lot so far from what we've seen to kind of like, yes, this is Metroid Prime, right? So given that they kind of had those quests in the prior Prime 3 games, I think that there's a solid chance there'll be some sort of collectathon. I do hope they find a way to kind of, I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, I hope there's not a collectathon. I'm okay with finding things. I just hope they kind of integrate into the adventure more smoothly. I think that will be better. So I hope that they find a better flow there. And I don't think Prime 4 necessarily has to be a very long game to be a good one. You know, I think with the Metroid games, they are designed to be replayed. That said, I think the expectation for games like you know, high profile games has gone up over the years. We've literally have seen a lot of games get a lot longer. I think this one will probably be the longest Metroid Prime game. I don't know by how much. I don't know. Let's say it's a 30 to 40 hour experience, which is long for a Metroid Prime game or a Metroid game in general, but still short compared to something like a 3D Mario or a Zelda game. You know, I mean, I guess in theory you could beat Zelda or 3D Mario very quickly, but for the most part, if you're really getting into it, you're going to put in 100 hours into those games. And I think I will put 100 hours into Metroid Prime 4, but with my second playthrough, right? I'll unlock like a extra secret crazy difficulty mode or something, you know, with a really awesome new skin and something like that, like some sort of new game plus, which will inspire me to play it again. And if there's multiplayer, like easily, right? Which, you know, we don't know if there's multiplayer or not. It's a debate. But I will at least guess that Prime 4 is going to be a decent amount longer than the other Prime games, just because of the standards today. Joey Ferris, August, September, November. I think it's September. Like that to me, that makes the most sense. Possibly October, right? You might think I'm crazy because he didn't even suggest October, but the reason I throw that out there is because I think it's very curious that Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out October 16th, because that's 2 weeks before October 30th, the day before Halloween. Right? So I'm the crazy man who thinks there's going to be another game from Nintendo in October. My theory is Luigi's Mansion 4, though. I just kind of think that, well, yeah, Pokemon's a big deal. It's also a Switch 2 edition game, right? I would assume most people still buy it on Switch 1. You're not going to have too many Pokemon early adopters, I would say, right? And we've already seen a little bit of a trend where Nintendo's put a Switch 2 edition game and a Switch 2 exclusive in the same month, in June for Mario Kart World and the Zeldas, and then Donkey Kong Bananza and Mario Party in July. Now, Pokemon being an actual new game, bigger deal. Totally get that. But I think because it's the launch of Switch 2, the holidays, October, November, we've actually seen a few years where they do put out multiple big games. I could see something else. Conceivably, they throw Prime 4 into that Halloween spot. It would fit. Like Prime Metroid for Halloween would be great. But that's not what I'm thinking. I think Prime 4 is coming out before Pokemon. I think September is the month. I feel like we've gone just enough about the game to show that it's not that far off, right? Like they are marking the game a little bit with the Nintendo Today updates, Not as much as Bonanza or Mario Kart World, which to me just says, yeah, it's coming out after that, but maybe not a lot after that. And September is a good month, I think. So, yeah. Joey, we did get Metroid Dread and Mario Party in October in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not Pokemon, though. So yeah, I mean, Mario Party and Metroid are very different, right? I honestly, I could see September being just Metroid. If you come out in September, because September is not the holiday, it's not quite holidays yet, right? So Nintendo doesn't need to do that big push. September can be Prime 4. Then you get to October where things go kind of crazy, right? And then November, I can see something like that. Maybe they put out something small. Maybe there's another Switch 1 title that comes out, probably Robobot or whatever. Fair, yeah, Joey. Since we all agree it's September, they're going to announce it to come out in December. It's a December game. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. I don't think so, right? I know none of us think so. We've seen December be a successful month for some games, though, right? Even Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did become the best-selling Xenoblade game, and it was a December release. And I think that was largely because it just had legs, right? There's no guarantee Metroid will have legs. We'll see, though. Netway09. I forgot all about imprisoning. Yeah, I mean, when does Age of Imprisonment come out? We did see that there was... So Nintendo's when they had their recent financial earnings release in the explanatory material, for the first few hours, it had Age of Imprisonment was listed as winter 2025. Next morning I checked, they took out the 2025. Don't know what that means. It might have just been, obviously it was a mistake. The question is, was it a mistake of we revealed the release date before we were supposed to, or we're not sure it's coming out this year. All we know is winter, which could mean December, could mean early next year. I have no idea. I feel like Air Riders could be a December game. That's possible. Or maybe it's one of those games that fits it. It's because Air Riders is not going to be a huge seller, right? It could be the 2 to the 1-2 punch for an October or November game. Anyway, look at that chat, though. And it's not the first time I talk about people. It feels like a lot of people kind of resonate with September for whatever reason. Connor, people are saying in your camp, from whatever side you come from, that Air Riders is a September game. Hey, there might be 2 games in September. It's possible. This is the launch year of Switch 2. Yeah. Anyway, last thing. Wilberforce Booster. 30 hours is a lot for a shooter. Metroid Prime 4 is an adventure game. It's not a shooter. It's an adventure game with shooting. It's so different. The Metroid Prime games are already longer than a shooter. Yeah, you could probably beat Metroid Prime in 10 to 15 hours, but I remember back in the day, because, you would get lost, you would die, all that stuff. The Metroid Prime games are more like 20-hour experiences, I would say. So, to predict 20 years later that Prime 4 is going to be a 30-hour game, considering how standards have changed and games have gotten bigger, I don't think is a crazy thing. But, I could be wrong. Anyway, that is all for now, everyone. Thank you all for coming by. Switch 2 is launching just a few short hours. All right, I'll see you all soon. Take care.